They say the truth always comes out, but no one expected it to land like this. For Prince William, a moment that began in quiet reflection has now ignited something far more powerful. Heartbreak, betrayal, and a revelation that could change everything we thought we knew about the royal family. A 30-year-old secret, buried deep within palace walls, has just come to light. And the person who kept it hidden? His own father. What was King Charles hiding all these years? And how could a son grieve his mother without knowing her final words were kept from him? This is the story of what Prince William discovered and why it might shatter the monarchy's foundation forever. It started like any other day, at least on the surface. Prince William was reportedly reviewing some of his father's old papers when he found something odd. Tucked deep in the folds of a personal collection, behind dusty correspondence and ceremonial notes, was a single letter. The handwriting was unmistakable, King Charles's. But this wasn't a birthday card or a forgotten memo. It was deliberate, and what it said stopped William cold. The letter allegedly gave clear instructions, specific orders issued just after Princess Diana's death. It requested that certain parts of her final wishes be concealed, not from the press, not from the public, but from her sons. William sat there stunned. Why would his own father want to keep him from hearing Diana's final thoughts? The letter made reference to private materials, journal entries, recordings, things that had never been made public. William felt the floor shift beneath him. Had his entire grieving process been built on half-truths? He thought he had made peace with his mother's passing. But now, that peace felt more like a lie. He kept digging, driven by an ache he didn't fully understand yet. And then he found them, exactly what the letter had mentioned. A leather-bound journal, several cassette tapes, and all of them from her. These weren't speeches, not media interviews, not public addresses polished by handlers. These were raw, personal, meant only for her children, meant for him. The journal was filled with reflections, her deepest fears, her hopes, her regrets. But it was the voice on the tapes that truly broke him. Diana had recorded messages in her own words, messages full of warmth, but also warning. She spoke about the pressures of the crown, the cold machinery of royal life, the loneliness that haunted her behind palace doors. But above all, she spoke with love for William and for Harry. Her voice cracked when she talked about the future they'd face without her. And listening to it, William broke too. But through his grief came something else, anger. Because he hadn't heard these words when he needed them most. He had walked through childhood, adolescence, adulthood, without ever knowing this part of her. And it wasn't fate that had kept them apart. It was a choice, his father's choice. That realization drove William to confront King Charles, not as the Prince of Wales, but as a son. The conversation wasn't dramatic. There were no cameras, no official statements. Just two men sitting across from one another, with a truth too big to ignore. "Why didn't you trust me with this?" William reportedly asked. Charles's answer was quiet. "I was trying to protect you from her pain." But to William, that wasn't protection. It was betrayal. The moment cracked their already fragile bond wide open. In the days that followed, William withdrew from duties, from public life, even from conversation. Those close to him said he was grieving again. But this time, it wasn't just for his mother. It was for the years he'd lost, the memories denied to him, the truths buried without his consent. "I feel like I've lost her all over again," he reportedly told Kate. And Kate, always his anchor, stood by him. But her quiet support was tinged with outrage, too. She believed William should have received those recordings years ago. She believed hiding Diana's final wishes was wrong. And she wasn't alone. As William spent long nights poring through his mother's writings, something else began to take shape, an even deeper betrayal. Diana hadn't just shared her emotions. She had left warnings. In her journal and recordings, she spoke openly about Camilla, her heartbreak, her fears, and most importantly, her concern that one day her story would be erased to make room for another. "They will be raised to serve a system that never protected me," she reportedly wrote. That one sentence stuck in William's mind. It didn't feel like a complaint. It felt like a prophecy. As Camilla's public role grew in recent years, from queen consort to official portraits, William couldn't shake the feeling that Diana had been right. And the more he reflected, the more he questioned whether preserving the image of the monarchy had come at the cost of burying his mother's voice. Kate, ever composed in public, felt the tension too. Insiders describe awkward moments between her and Camilla, smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes, silences that spoke volumes. Behind closed doors, the divide was growing, and William stood at the center of it, torn between legacy and truth. But something else was stirring. Amid the grief and the revelations, William began to think of his brother, Harry. For years, they had grown apart, fueled by tensions, media narratives, and unspoken resentment. But now, William began to wonder, had Harry known something all along? Was that what he was trying to say in those bombshell interviews? Maybe Harry hadn't been angry without reason. Maybe he had sensed a cover-up, even if he didn't know the details. For the first time in months, William reached out. The conversation was short, but before hanging up, he reportedly said something powerful. There's something I need to share with you. Something Mom left behind. And just like that, a door opened. Not just to reconciliation, but to truth. But while William reconnected with his brother, the palace was in panic mode. Word had gotten out. A leak. A whisper. A royal insider reportedly hinted to the press that William had discovered something deeply personal, something Charles had kept hidden. Within hours, the internet caught fire. Hashtag Let Diana Speak trended worldwide. People weren't just curious, they were furious. Why had Diana's messages been hidden? Who made that decision? And how could his son go 3 decades without hearing his mother's final words? The palace responded the only way it knew how: silence. But this time, silence wasn't enough. Each day, without a statement, fueled more speculation, more outrage. And for William, the choice was becoming clearer. He could protect the silence, or he could honor his mother's voice. Insiders say he's seriously considering releasing parts of the tapes and journal. Not for scandal, not for revenge, but to restore Diana's voice, her truth, her legacy. It's a bold move, one that could split the royal family down the middle. But William knows this isn't just about him anymore. It's about the future. The boy who once walked behind his mother's coffin is now a man standing at a crossroads. For 30 years, he carried her memory quietly. But now, her voice is louder than ever. Not because it was shouted, but because it was silenced. And William? He's no longer just a prince. He's a son reclaiming the truth. And no matter what the palace does next, Diana's voice has already been heard. If this story moved you, drop a comment below. Thank you for watching. Like and hit that subscribe button for more royal revelations.